I was one of two American reporters that went to cover the Russo-Finnish Pact of 1947, a really horrendous time for Finland. Already Finland had been stripped to the bone. The level of poverty and, well, not poverty, but really deprivation, of lack of anything, was already, and the Russians were putting screws on getting even more out of Finland. Wood, even finished products. The kinds of things that remain with me were the lack of food. I was entertained by the managing editor of the largest Finnish daily, and he offered me coffee that I had brought from Sweden. And when I said, "Oh, don't use the coffee on me," he said, "It's the only decent thing I have to offer you." I went to a black market restaurant where there was food, limited, but if I hadn't been taken to the black market restaurant by an admirer, I would have had what everyone else was having in the press, which was really almost, it was near starvation. I think people were hungry. They needed everything. The sheets in the hotel were made of paper. They had had 10 years of deprivation ever since the Russians originally invaded them. The fact that this is a country that a decade later was more than rebounded, but how could I have known in 1947? Already, however, there were evidences of the kinds of beautiful things we all get from Finland. Marimekko had begun. Arabia, that wonderful porcelain, I still have the cups I bought as a young woman. Glass was beginning to be made. You could find pockets of beautiful things in spite of the lack of everything. The Russians were scary. There's just no way to get about it. The conference, I think, lasted 5 days, and there was another American journalist, Bill Atwood, of some distinction. He later became an ambassador, managing editor of Look magazine, a really distinguished journalist. And we, of course, ate together all the time, or didn't eat, and we were stunned by what the Russians were trying still to do to the Finns. I think that kind of sums up my time.